You're out there, deep in the wilderness, and you hear a sound that makes the hair on your arm stand up. Was it the wind, an animal, or something else? That's the question that has chased folks through these ancient forests for centuries, long before we gave it a name. People have always known that the deep woods hold secrets, things that don't quite fit into our neat little boxes. It's a primal feeling, that sense of being watched when you think you're alone. It's a feeling that connects us to our earliest ancestors, who knew that survival meant paying attention to every snapped twig, every shadow that moved. This isn't just about some modern-day monster hunt, you see. This is about a truth that runs deeper than a river and is older than the tallest trees. People who have lived on this land for thousands of years, the Native American tribes, have stories that speak of this very thing. They didn't have fancy cameras or DNA kits. They had something more powerful, generations of wisdom passed down around the campfire. Their stories weren't just for entertainment, they were survival guides, maps of a world that included beings we might find hard to believe in today. They were warnings and lessons. These tales weren't just about a big, hairy beast crashing through the brush. They were often about guardians, spirits of the forest that demanded respect. Let's journey back, way back. In the Pacific Northwest, among tribes like the Salish, you'll hear tales of the Sasquatch. But this isn't the monster you see in blurry videos. In their language, the name often means something like wild man of the woods. This being was a part of their world, as real as the salmon in the rivers, as real as the eagles in the sky. It was a nocturnal creature, one that lived just on the edge of human settlement. It was seen as a spiritual being, a protector of the wilderness that kept humans from getting too greedy or too careless with nature's gifts. These stories often served as a powerful lesson in respect. Elders would tell the children about the Sasquatch to keep them close to the village after dark, a practical way to keep them safe from predators, both known and unknown. But the lesson was deeper. It was about respecting boundaries. If you treated the forest and its creatures with honor, the Sasquatch would leave you be. But if you were destructive, disrespectful, or wasteful, you might get a visit. It was a reminder that the wilderness has its own laws, and you'd better learn to follow them. Further south, the stories change a bit, but the core idea remains. Some tribes in the Sierra Nevada mountains spoke of a giant, hairy man who was shy and solitary. He would leave massive footprints, but was rarely seen. Fast forward to today, the old stories have a new name, Bigfoot. The modern era kicked off in the 1950s. Construction crew in Northern California, enormous human-like tracks at the worksite. They nicknamed it Bigfoot. The name stuck. Reporters swarm. The story explodes nationally. Logger comes forward with an account. Hunter comes forward with an account. Hiker comes forward with an account. The legend jumps from tribal lore to national phenomenon. The Patterson-Gimlin film, 1967, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin on horseback at Bluff Creek. They claim to have filmed a large, hairy female creature walking away. The short, shaky footage has been analyzed and debated. It has also been debunked and re-verified repeatedly. Is it a person in a suit, or the real deal? That clip cemented Bigfoot's image forever. Reports keep coming from all over North America, from the swamps of Florida, from the forests of British Columbia. Police officers report sightings. Doctors report sightings. Teachers report sightings. Seasoned woodsmen report sightings. Described: massive, bipedal, ape-like, covered in dark hair. Witnesses describe incredible speed, a powerful stride, and a deeply unsettling feeling of being observed. Many witnesses are visibly shaken. They're not after fame, they're after answers. Technology has changed the game. Everyone carries an HD camera. Trail cams watch remote game trails. Thermal imagers pierce the darkness. Drones fly over inaccessible forest. You'd think we'd have a clear answer by now, but the woods are vast and the creature, if real, has centuries of practice staying hidden. The modern hunt is a high-tech search for an ancient mystery, a clash between our digital world and the raw, untamed wild. When you're tracking an animal, you look for it's the same for Bigfoot. The most common and compelling piece of physical evidence is the footprints. We're not talking about a simple stomped-out shape in the dirt. Researchers have found and cast hundreds of tracks that are truly baffling, up to 24 inches long and 8 inches wide, with a distinct shape that isn't human and isn't bear. Some casts show incredible anatomical detail, like a flexible midfoot arch, called a mid-tarsal break, something apes have, but humans don't. Faking that kind of detail consistently across different states and decades would be a monumental task. Then there's the hair. Every so often, someone finds clumps of strange hair caught on a tree branch or a fence where a large creature might have squeezed through. These samples get sent to labs for DNA analysis. While many turn out to be from known animals like bears, coyotes, or even cows, a handful come back as unknown primate or unidentified. Scientists are rightly cautious. Contamination is always a risk. But when a sample defies a clear match, it keeps the door open. Could this be the genetic proof we've been looking for? It's a tantalizing possibility. You also have to consider the sounds. People deep in the wilderness have recorded terrifying howls, whistles, and chatter that don't match any known North American animal. They've also documented wood knocks, loud, rhythmic smacks of wood against wood that seem to echo from one ridge to another, as if in communication. Primatologists will tell you that apes like gorillas and chimpanzees use similar behaviors, like chest beating or drumming on trees, to communicate over long distances. Could Sasquatch be doing the same thing, using the forest as its drum? Finally, you have the eyewitness accounts, thousands of them. While a single story is easy to dismiss, the sheer volume and consistency of these reports are harder to ignore. People consistently describe a creature between 7 and 10 feet tall, broad-shouldered and covered in long hair, a foul odor like a wet dog and garbage, human-like eyes, and the profound, sometimes terrifying experience of locking gazes with something that shouldn't exist. Now, we have to be smart about this. A good survivalist is always a skeptic. You question everything. And there are strong arguments against the existence of Bigfoot. The biggest one is the lack of a body. For a breeding population of large primates to exist, there would have to be thousands of them. So where are the bones? Where are the carcasses? The wild is an efficient recycler. Scavengers and decomposition can make quick work of a body, but the complete absence of any physical remains is the hardest pill for science to swallow. It's a fair and powerful point. Hoaxes are a huge problem too. People love a good prank, and the Bigfoot legend has inspired countless fakes, from guys in gorilla suits to carved wooden feet used to stamp tracks. Every time a hoax is exposed, it damages the credibility of the entire field. You have to sift through a lot of noise to get to a potential signal, and that requires a critical and discerning eye. However, dismissing everything as a hoax or a misidentification is also a mistake. It closes your mind, and it can show a deep disrespect for the native cultures where these stories originated. When we laugh at the idea of Sasquatch, we are indirectly laughing at belief systems that are thousands of years old. For these communities, the creature is not a joke. It's a part of their heritage and their understanding of the world. It represents the power of nature and the importance of living in balance with it, a lesson our modern world desperately needs to learn. So, the challenge is to hold two ideas in your head at once. We can be scientifically rigorous, demanding clear, testable evidence. At the same time, we can be culturally respectful, listening to and honoring the traditional knowledge of indigenous peoples. So, where does that leave us? Standing at the edge of a great dark forest, faced with a profound mystery. We may never get that perfect high-definition photo or the undisputed DNA sequence that satisfies every skeptic. Maybe the point isn't about capturing and cataloging this creature. Maybe the true value of the Bigfoot legend, both ancient and modern, is about preserving a sense of wonder in a world that feels increasingly mapped out, explained, and tamed. It keeps a question mark on the map.